flight left from Yellowknife. We were headed to Arctic Watch, but first with a stopover in Cambridge Bay. As the flight progressed, I really began to understand how far away from the city we were going. Civilization and industry were soon replaced by water, ice, and wilderness. Before we knew it, there we were, flying over Arctic Watch Lodge, taking in the land where we were about to spend the next 7 days, and meeting the team who would guide us around the island. Our first full day at Arctic Watch started with a hike to a nearby waterfall. At that point I realized how easy it was to misjudge scale in the Arctic, the height of the falls only truly being clear once I was at the base, watching other guests wave back at me. The day progressed with the group heading down to the inlet to watch the tide come in, and with it, the beluga whales. It's still incredibly hard to describe the whales at Arctic Watch. The water churns with belugas of all sizes and colors as they pop their heads up to catch a glimpse of the world above. You can just sit on the shore for hours, listening and watching the whales as they playfully socialize in the mouth of the river. Day 2 saw us departing on ATVs to track the muskox, and hopefully catch a glimpse of these elusive creatures. Careful to stay downwind, masking the sounds of our ATVs, we would stop and watch the herd as it progressed across the plain below. Upon finding a ridge to keep cover, we were able to sneak up and snap photos of the family of muskox as they grazed. But our cameras caught their attention, and they quickly began to wander away. We left the camp headed for Gull Canyon on day 3. Nansen, Andrew, and I hiking around the rim of the canyon to capture the others below. I had no idea that lush green canyon walls could exist this high above the Arctic Circle, and the depth of the colors left me speechless. We sat there, silently snapping photos, watching the gulls soar above the others, taking in the vista of the canyon below us. The Northwest Passage was our first destination on day 4. Hoping to catch sight of polar bears, we ventured along the coast, eventually stopping for lunch behind a ridge. The afternoon brought us to the nearby Thule sites, which offered a looking glass to the history of the people of northern Canada. After the Thule sites, the group headed to Kayak Falls, a waterfall carved into the hillside along the bay with an almost impossibly perfect outcropping that made for our afternoon photo op. The group departed for the day traveling across the Badlands, a former ocean bed, high above the current water table, which is littered with shells and remnants of its former life. Most notably are the 8,000-year-old bowhead whale bones that sit petrified far away from where the water now resides. The Badlands lead us to the starting point of the afternoon's rafting trip. The rafts will take us down 14 kilometers of crystal clear water surrounded by canyon walls whose rock formations stand high above you, telling the stories of many years past. We suited up on ATVs, headed to inland lakes to attempt to catch our own dinner of Arctic char on day 6. The wind was whipping across the lake, leaving me happy I wore the extra layer of insulation for this fishing trip. The ever-present wind and the sound of the water lapping at your feet are some of the only noises you hear this far inland as you cast and wait for the fish to bite. But our patience was worth it, and again I was left speechless, as the Arctic char we caught that very morning was prepared into the freshest sushi I have ever eaten. As our Arctic Watch experience was drawing to a close, we packed our bags and headed back to the landing strip. As the plane passed over, I was left thinking of my time in the Arctic, hoping that more people could have a chance to experience this unique part of Canada for themselves.